would never have
Hmm.
happened.
I'm gonna fix this
Nor
up.
would Russia attacking Ukraine have happened. All of those lives would be saved. All of those beautiful cities would be standing. Our currency is crashing and will soon no longer be the world standard, which will be our greatest defeat, frankly, in 200 years. It will be
They have horrible audio. What the hell?
away from being even a great power. If you took the 5 worst presidents in the history of the United States and added them up, they would not have done near the destruction to our country as Joe Biden and the Biden administration have done. Incredibly, we are now a failing nation. We are a nation in decline. And now these radical left lunatics want to interfere with our elections by using law enforcement. We can't let that. With all of this being said, and with a very dark cloud over our beloved country, I have no doubt, nevertheless, that we will make America great again. God bless you, and God bless America. Thank you very much.
That was probably the end of it. Matter of fact, I'm about to just rewind it.
Pursuing Republicans, the unconstitutional changes to election laws by not getting approvals from state legislators, the millions of votes illegally stuffed into ballot boxes and all caught on government cameras. And just recently, the FBI and DOJ in collusion with Twitter and Facebook in order not to say anything bad about the Hunter Biden laptop from hell, which exposes the Biden family as criminals and which, according to the pollsters, would have made a 17-point difference in the election result. And we needed a lot less than that, like about 16.9. It would have been in our favor, not my favor, our favor, because our country is going to hell.
Yeah, if you become president again, most likely.
And we remember the 51 intelligence agents
Why would you say something like that? Our country's going to hell?
who said Hunter Biden's laptop was Russian disinformation. It didn't exist. It was Russian disinformation. Remember that? And that was all confirmed strongly by the FBI when they all knew that it wasn't Russian disinformation. And so much more. Our elections were like those of a third world country. And now this massive election interference at a scale never seen before in our country, beginning with the radical left, George Soros-backed prosecutor Alvin Bragg of New York, who campaigned on the fact that he would get President Trump. I'm going to get him. I'm going to get him. This is a guy campaigning. He wanted to get President Trump at any cost, and this before he knew anything about me, didn't know a thing about me. He was campaigning.
I can't stand the way this guy talks. It's like he gives speeches like he's like gossiping, basically, you know?
As it turns out, anything about me. Didn't President Trump at any cost, and this before he knew anything about me, didn't know a thing about me. He was campaigning. As it turns out, virtually everybody that has looked at this case, including rhinos and even hardcore Democrats,
Sounds like he's just talking shit, you know? He sounds like he's just talking shit, like about someone to somebody else. You know what I mean? He always talks like he's talking shit behind somebody's back. That's what it is. I mean, I guess that's what he's doing, but at least other politicians can make it sound a little bit more professional. I don't know.
Say there is no crime and that it should never have been brought. Never have been brought. Everybody. Even people that aren't big fans have said it. They said this is not the right thing to do. It's an insult to our country, as the world is already laughing at us for so many other reasons, like our open borders, our incompetent withdrawal from Afghanistan, where we left behind American citizens, $85 billion worth of the best military equipment in the world, lost 13 magnificent young lives, and far too many to mention that are so badly hurt with the loss of arms and legs and facial obliteration. The most embarrassing time in our country's history, in my opinion. Then our give up on energy independence and even energy dominant. We're going to be dominant within 6 months, more than any other nation times 2. We had this all just 3 years ago. Our raging crime statistics, if you look in Democrat-run cities, numbers the likes of which we have never seen before. The open threats by various countries of the use of nuclear weapons, something never mentioned or discussed by outside nations during the Trump administration, and which could very well lead under the Biden administration's leadership to an
Mm,
all-out nuclear war.
my fault. I've been so bad with the chat. This game is it's called Humankind, but there's another game just like it called Sid Meier's Civilization, and I think it's better. Um, yeah, this one called Humankind.
World War III can happen. We're not very far away from it, believe it or not.
You're
An
at the
economy
end of
that
an
has been
ideology
crippled by the
axis.
biggest inflation we
Well,
have
there's
seen
something
in
to
more
be
than
said
60
for
years,
unswerving dedication
and
to
a
a
military
cause.
that I used to defeat ISIS in 4 weeks. They said it would take 4 years. 4 weeks. To kill al-Baghdadi and Soleimani, that has now gone woke at the top levels by trying to indoctrinate everyone down to the lowest
Oh shit, my fault. I fucked up.
ranking patriot. But now they have really stepped up their efforts by indicting the 45th President of the United States, who received
Yeah, fuck you.
75 million votes, which is more than any sitting president in the history of our country. And in the wings, they've got a local racist Democrat district attorney in Atlanta who is doing everything in her power to indict me over an absolutely perfect phone call, even more perfect than the one I made with the president of Ukraine. Remember?
Who talks like that? An absolutely perfect phone call, even more perfect. Perfect. Like, bro, you're just so weird, dude. So fucking weird.
I kept saying that's a perfect call. This one was more perfect.
Nobody talks like that. You're such a liar, dude.
Perfect phone call, even more perfect than the one I made with the president of Ukraine. Remember, I kept saying that's a perfect call. This one was more perfect. Nobody said, sir, you shouldn't say that. Many people on the phone or hung up in disgust because of something I inappropriately said, because nothing was said wrong. In fact, at the end of the call, we agreed to continue our conversation about election fraud.
What is he talking about? It just feels like projection. Hold on a second. I gotta take this
Sir,
back.
you shouldn't say that. Many people,
Wait, he's like, no, you
president
shouldn't
of
say that. What did you say?
Ukraine. Remember, I kept saying that's a perfect call. This one was more perfect. Nobody said, sir, you shouldn't say that. Many people on the phone were hung up in disgust because of something I inappropriately said, because nothing was said wrong. In fact, at the end of the call, we agreed to continue.
I'm confused. He's saying several people hung up during that call because he made an inappropriate comment, but it was a perfect call and nothing went wrong. And as a matter of fact, they even kept talking. I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
Our conversation about election fraud specifically in Georgia at a later time. Many people on the phone, including
This
lots
is
of lawyers,
cringed.
nobody found anything wrong with that perfect call until a book promotion tour many months later. All of a sudden they say, you know, I remember Trump making a call. Let's look at that. This fake case was brought only to interfere with the upcoming 2024 election.
I mean, wait. What do you mean fake case? Didn't he just say this call, yeah, it took place and I said something fucked up? I'm
And it should be
confused.
dropped immediately.
Fuck?
Then you have a radical left lunatic known as a bomb thrower who is harassing hundreds of my people day after day over the boxes hoax. You know, the boxes hoax, as we call it. Just so everyone knows, I come under what's known as the Presidential Records Act, which was designed and approved by Congress long ago just for this reason. Under the act, I'm supposed to negotiate with NARA, the National Archives and Records Administration, which as of this date is a radical left troublemaking organization that red flags the Constitution of the United States and the Bill of Rights as dangerous and triggering. Can you imagine? This is what we have to deal with. But there is no criminality under the Presidential Records Act. That is not what it's all about. We were negotiating in very good faith, proper way, in order to return some or all of the documents that I openly and in very plain sight brought with me to Mar-a-Lago from our beautiful White House, just as virtually every other president has done in the past. When FBI and DOJ officials with NARA were here, I told my lawyer to show them the very secure storage room in which they were locked. The FBI's sole request in writing was, could you please put a
Bro, I don't know if I can watch this. This guy's so fucking boring and stupid. He just rambles and rambles and rambles. What the fuck is he talking about? What does this have to do with the fucking the arraignment, dude?
all of those lives would be saved, all of those beautiful, and that it should
Fuck happened to his audio?
it says dangerous and triggering. Can you imagine? This is what we have to deal with. But there is no criminality under the Presidential Records Act. That is not what it's all about. We were negotiating in very
Not what it's all about.
good faith, proper way, in order to return some or all of the documents that I openly and in very plain sight brought with me to Mar-a-Lago from our beautiful White House, just as virtually every other.
It's like when he says I brought it openly and in plain sight, I'm thinking he had it super fucking locked down. Nobody fucking knew. Super hush hush. Like literally, like the most discreet thing you could possibly think of. When he goes out of his way to fucking say it was super locked down, nobody knew. Or no, I'm sorry. He's like, it was in plain sight, totally plain sight. Everybody saw it around. I'm like, wow, so it was the total opposite, huh? Goddamn. I'm doing good. Thank you. How are you?
The president has done in the past. When FBI and DOJ officials with NARA were here, I told my lawyer to show them the very
Seems
secure storage room in which they were locked. The FBI's sole request in writing was, could you please put another lock on the door? We immediately complied. It's a lot different than the Biden situation, isn't it? The next thing I know, we were raided by many gun-toting FBI agents.
Good, dude. What the fuck? Despite their arraignment. Yeah, dude. Like, so weird. Wait, I'm gonna try to make the chat bigger. 1 second. One sec. Let me try to make the chat bigger. Mm. This arraignment is crazy, though. I did not expect him to be getting arraigned with 34 charges. I mean, it's like 34 all of the same charge, but I don't know. It still seems kind of. I didn't expect all that. Mm. Bruh. Why is this chat? Uh-huh. All right, test the chat size for me. Can you test it and see how big the font is, please? Testing. That shit is small as hell. I cannot even read that. All right. Oh shit, 'cause I didn't save the settings. That's why. That's why. All right, run it back. Test. Thank you so much. Okay, that's. I'll see if it's too big, but that's cool. All right, back to the video. The video. Oh,
Who took whatever they wanted, including my passports and medical records. Everybody was in shock. Nobody had ever heard of such a raid before. We can't even believe it. Who would think that that could happen today?
he was hurt that that happened. He was so hurt. Boy.
Immediately thought of the Fourth Amendment that protects against unreasonable search and seizure. But they did it anyway because our justice system has become lawless. They're using
Oh
it
yeah,
now,
I was doing
in
something.
addition to everything else, to win elections. Apparently, they're not looking at me through the view of the Non-Criminal Presidential Records Act. They came up with a new one. This is a new one. And they're looking at me through the Espionage Act. Think of that. How does that sound? Of 1917, where the penalty is death. Even though that has absolutely nothing to do with open.
Wait, what is he talking about? What?
Apparently, they're not looking at me through the view of the Non-Criminal Presidential Records Act. They came up with a new one. This is a new one. And they're looking at me through the Espionage Act. Think of that. How does that sound? Of 1917, where the penalty is death.
Oh, let's go. Let's go. USA. 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 USA.
even though that has absolutely nothing to do with openly taking boxes of documents and mostly
It's got everything to do with it. It's got everything to do with it. All for this fucking head.
clothing and other things
Espionage, nigga.
to my home, which President Obama has done, the Bushes have done, Jimmy Carter's done, Ronald Reagan has done. Everybody's done. In
Okay.
fact, Hillary Clinton got rid of 33,000 emails, and that was okay.
That's right, because she was smooth with it, hater. She was smooth with it, hater. She was smooth with it. She didn't get caught up like you did, bruh. She was able to maneuver and do her thing, you know. She didn't wind up with 34 felony charges, bro. You mad. Stop being mad, dog.
But nobody's done it like Joe Biden. This lunatic special prosecutor named Jack Smith, I wonder what it was prior to a change,
Lunatic. What?
who others of his ilk say he is even worse than they are, is only looking at Trump, yet Joe Biden took massive amounts more documents, even removed many boxes to Chinatown. You believe that? Just got $10 million from China. Where did that come from? I guess they were banking on
You bastard. Why the fuck does he hate China so fucking much? God damn, bro. God damn, he loves shitting on China. He's like, fucking China, am I right? Fucking China. And everyone's like, wow, yeah, fucking China. What is that about?
Hunter's expertise and had others stored in unsecured offices in
Seriously,
Pennsylvania and strewn all
nobody is safe right now.
over his garage floor where his now very famous Corvette is also stored. All over the floor, including classified documents. But that's okay. Perhaps
Wait a minute, was he even hating on his Corvette just now? Did he just hate on his Corvette? My God.
most importantly, he has 1,850 boxes in Delaware, which he is refusing to give up. But isn't that real obstruction? That's obstruction. As president, I have the right to declassify documents, and the process
Hey,
is automatic. If I
stop.
take them with me, it's automatic, declassified. Biden was vice president. He had absolutely no right to declassify as vice president. He doesn't come under the non-criminal Presidential Records Act. He comes under the very criminal Federal Records Act, unfortunately for him, but it's not
Oh, he said the very criminal. Hold on. He funny as shit.
classify as vice president. He doesn't come under the non-criminal Presidential Records Act. He comes under the very criminal Federal Records Act, unfortunately for him, but it's not going to matter because they don't follow the law, which has very severe penalties.
Yeah, dog. And that's why you literally just left your arraignment. So you let us know about those severe penalties. Hold on, my cat is tripping. Sometimes you just gotta give them some love and attention so they'll chill out. Okay, sorry. All right, she's out of here. Anyway, sorry.
He had classified documents that he took while he was a senator, which is absolutely inexcusable. And other senators, including Democrats, are outraged. But he's not being harassed
Fuck you, Trump. Shut the fuck up. Nobody fucking cares. Let me watch a video where everybody's talking shit about you and talking about how many years you're gonna go to jail. That's what the fuck I want to know. I want to know how many years are you going to fucking prison, dickhead? Oh, here we go.
Switch to Chrome to protect yourself from malware, so you can surf without getting phished. Faster, safer, yours. Get Chrome for Windows.
History unfolding inside a Manhattan courtroom today, with former President Trump pleading not guilty to 34 counts of falsifying business records
Nope.
and conspiracy for his alleged role in hush money
fuck is
payments to
this?
2 women leading up to the 2016 election. The political
Fuck is
effects
this
already
video?
rippling across the country as voters look ahead to Mr. Trump's 2024 race for the White House.
I am thinking that Trump is a threat to democracy, and I think he needs to be held accountable for his crimes.
I think it's a disgrace for this country what's going on, to politicize the Justice Department.
Among dueling protesters outside the courthouse, a handful of lawmakers, including the controversial conservative Marjorie Taylor Greene.
They're not prosecuting President Trump, they're persecuting him. And it's all because he's the leading Republican candidate for the presidential election for 2024.
Shut the
She
fuck
argues
up.
the former
Man, I wish I
president's
wouldn't
legal
muted her.
battles only make him stronger. Recent
Shut the
polling does
fuck
show
up.
him gaining ground among Republican voters. Democrats have their own concerns.
I fear if this just becomes a Trump spectacle 24/7 on cable news, that he's going to benefit in the same way he benefited in 2016.
Former President Trump lashing out on social media against the
facts,
Manhattan
though.
district attorney and other perceived
This is gonna get everybody like all worked up.
Robbie, with his fist in the air heading to New York court, it was a prophetic scene for Mr. Trump, who personally then told the judge not guilty during arraignment. The history-making entrance by former President Trump this afternoon in New York State Court in Manhattan. While we've known for days that he was charged, it was only after this appearance began that the grand jury indictment became public. Details of dozens of felonies against America's 45th president, all of them related to falsifying business records. Authorities say the 34-count indictment charges that Mr. Trump paid off several people to keep them quiet about various personal indiscretions with women. Investigators say Trump believed if those things became known to the public, they might affect his chances in the 2016 election. Here is the Manhattan District Attorney.
At its core, this case today is one with allegations like so many of our white-collar cases. Allegations that someone lied again and again to protect their interests and evade the laws to which we are all held accountable.
We're going to talk about the insufficiency of this case. And I will say this to you. Today's unsealing of this indictment shows that the rule of law died in this country. Because while everyone is not above the law, no one's below it either. And if this man's name was not Donald J. Trump, there is no scenario we'd all be here today. Please understand that based on these charges.
With former President Trump entering a plea of not guilty, this promises to be a lengthy legal process. Expect a motion to dismiss to be filed by his attorneys and other motions by both sides dealing with whatever evidence there is, including records, paperwork, and possible emails. The next known court date isn't on the books until early December, and with 3 other criminal investigations underway right now involving classified documents and the 2020 election results, this will be a dominant news story for quite a while, Cheryl.
Watch breaking news on
Yeah, that's crazy. Dumbass. All right, hold on. I'm gonna see some crazy shit. Like an interrogation. Doorbell video and police sketch released. Hold on. What the heck? This is 6 days ago. And who raped 80-year-old woman? Alright, bro. I don't want to know about that. Inside an armed bank raid. Bro, what? Vice. Bro, Vice is like, no, we're in it. We're gonna get in the shit. They really like went along on what they do, like a ride along for a bank robbery? Bro, what? Hold on. I might as well check this out, right? The fuck? What does this mean? Did they do a ride along on a bank robbery?
Once you meet with a TurboTax expert who will do your taxes for you, you're free to do not taxes.
يلا عطاك واحدة يا مسكين هاي هلا ليك والله
We're inside a bank in Beirut where there are depositors currently holding it up.
عدوا المصاري تعالوا عدوا المصاري اللي معك
He has a gun in his hand and a Molotov cocktail.
Yeah, dude, she's literally, that's insane. Fuck no, I would never do this job. This is insane.
Bank raids like this are happening all over Lebanon, which is currently in one of the most catastrophic economic crises in modern history. Years of bad economic policies and sprawling government corruption came crashing down in
So wild.
2019.
They are so wild. I don't give a fuck.
Era lost nearly 95% of its value.
I know they have good workers' comp benefits. I know they have good workers' comp benefits and good like accidental death, like life insurance benefits too.
Plunging 3/4 of the population below the poverty line. Banks in Lebanon made things worse by limiting people to taking out only $400 a month of their own money. But due to widespread corruption, those with political connections have been able to secretly transfer billions of dollars abroad, enraging the public. This has led some depositors to take up arms and demand their money. Since July, more than a dozen people have raided banks and walked away with part of their savings. But they're not acting alone. They're backed by groups calling for a depositor's revenue.
All right, this is boring though, but that's crazy. I just wanted to know. They really did a fucking ride along. Who's on the FBI's most wanted list and why? That's my boy, that chapter.
Hey you and welcome. My name is Mike and in this old video, we're gonna do something just a little bit different. Yep, we're gonna look at who's on the FBI's most wanted list and what all the lads did to get themselves on this esteemed platform. This list, it's exactly what it says on the tin. It's in no particular order, it's not ranked. So we're gonna look at each of these naughty bad boys, where they could possibly be today, and what exactly they did to get themselves on the list. Not that I'm looking for any advice, wink wink. These guys are still at large out there somewhere in the world, more than likely in America, as it's all set in America. I mean, they could
Really? You think the dudes on the FBI's most wanted list are in America? I feel like they're most likely outside of America. I don't know.
They could be right behind you as
Well, I guess they're on the no-fly. They're on the no-fly list, huh? Okay. Well, probably Mexico.
you're watching this video. They could be watching this video.
That's awkward. That's kind of scary.
Okay, so first up, who we got? Well, how about Jason Derek Brown? Jason grew up in LA, born in 1969. Nice. A Mormon, he did time missionary.
This fucking NSYNC Backstreet Boy looking ass is on the FBI's most wanted list?
Marrying, that's a word, right? In France, where I don't think he had too much luck, to be honest. Writing at the time being 1989, to his grandparents. There are days that are really, really tough when no one wants to listen to us, and you just wonder what's this all about. Then there are days you have a baptism, and you're on top of the world, wishing you never had to come down. Sounds just fantastic. Jason's dad, David, is an alleged thief with huge gambling debts who was actually booted out of the church for stealing. He disappeared in...
I didn't see that coming. That's funny. I thought he was going to say it was like a pedophile or something, honestly.
1995, which many have speculated that that's what led Jason to do what he would do and get on a list you really don't want to be on. After Jason got all that missionarying out of the way, he moved to Laguna Beach, California, and got married. However, it seems that his father's disappearance didn't sit too well with him. Shortly after, he divorced and started living the high life. Left the church, cars, women, drugs, gambling, all that good stuff. Moving from California to Utah to Arizona to Texas. But by 2004, he was essentially a broke grifter, just like his daddy, which in turn led him to do something quite drastic and
You didn't have to say that. Just like his daddy. Damn.
shitty.
911, what is your emergency? There was about 5 shots fired. It was quite a few shots that rang out. It sounded like one gun. 911, what is your emergency? My driver just called and said our guard is down. He's been shot, and he's been shot several times. Please get somebody there.
On November 29th, 2004, Robert Palomares, a 24-year-old armored car guard, was taking the money from an AMC theater in Phoenix, Arizona at 10 a.m. He was approached by a masked man who shot him 5 times in the head. He was carrying about $56,000, which Jason took. He ran off into an alley and then was off on a mountain bike. Robert Palomares was pronounced dead an hour later. A few hours later, the police found that mountain bike, fingerprinted the shit out of it, and bingo bango, you got your Jason Brown. After the murder, it's believed Jason drove to Las Vegas, then to California where he stayed with his brother. The FBI learned of this, and were actually only an hour away from catching him at his brother's home when someone, wink wink, tipped him off and he escaped. Jason's brother would, for harboring a fugitive, would later be charged with obstruction of justice. 6 weeks later, Jason's car was found abandoned at Portland International Airport. And that's kind of it. There have been a few sightings of Jason over the years. In fact, the actor Sean Penn's body double has been arrested twice after people thought it was Jason.
True.
In 2008, he was apparently sighted in Salt Lake City, near the zoo, by someone who recognized him.
That's so funny. That's random as fuck. That was so funny.
From his missionary days. Apparently, upon, Jason knowing he had...
If I get through this, though, I'm exhausted. I might have to pick this up tomorrow. There's some other things I want to watch, too. But, yeah.
Been recognized, he just sped off. Other alleged sightings have been in France, Indonesia, a few other places in Utah and California. In 2012, the FBI said he may be hiding out within the Mormon community somewhere in Utah. One of the reasons the FBI and just, law enforcement in general has been having such a hard time in finding Jason is because he has such a everyman look. He just looks kind of bleh. He's just a god.
Damn. He just looks kind of bleh. He's just a guy.
Apparently he just blends into crowds really, really well. Jason, what does he look like?
True.
He looks like a guy. He's just a dude. There is currently a $200,000 reward for any information leading to his arrest. So, any Mormons out there, if you know something, okie dokie. Who's next? Well, how about Eugene Palmer, the eldest fella on this list? He's from New York, born in 1939, making him 81 years old currently, if he's still alive. Now, what did this, kindly, if you don't look at his face, old man do to get on this list? He should be out there enjoying his golden years, not being hunted down like a dog. Oh yeah, he murdered his daughter-in-law. Oof, yeah, that'll do it. Tammy Palmer was married to John Palmer, Eugene's son. They lived in Rockland, New York. Eugene actually lived next door. He owned John and Tammy's place. However, after a few years, it seems that Tammy and John's marriage, eventually it was how I like my whiskey, on the rocks, with them both eventually agreeing to see other people. However, over time, their relationship deteriorated to the point where Tammy filed a restraining order against John. As you can imagine, Eugene was not happy about this. I mean, he lived next door, he had a front row seat to everything, and then when Tammy filed a restraining order against his son, that meant that his son couldn't go into Tammy and John's house. Eugene owned Tammy and John's house. So Eugene was pissed at his daughter-in-law, who he thought was a bitch, because she was living in a house he owned that his own son couldn't enter. After that, the relationship between Tammy Palmer and her father-in-law turned into a tit-for-tat war. Apparently, Eugene would shut off electricity to Tammy's house, and Tammy would wake Eugene up by blowing her car horn outside his home at night. The real kicker, however, between Tammy and Eugene came when Tammy threatened to divorce John and then sue Eugene for his land as part of the settlement. On September 24th, 2012, after Tammy walked her children to the bus, as she was walking home, Eugene ambushed her and started shooting at her with a shotgun, hitting her in the chest. She ran, but eventually collapsed dead in her backyard.
Damn, she ran after getting hit in the chest with a shotgun? Holy shit.
Yeah. After that, Eugene fled the scene, apparently with just the clothes on his back and slippers. He wasn't even wearing shoes. Then he drove across the street in his pickup truck, went into his sister's house who lived there, gave her a shit ton of money, and told her, to use that money to pay the property taxes because property taxes, hey, they're the real killer. He then said, "Give me an hour before you call the police." Somebody else had already called the police.
911, where's your emergency? I heard a shot, a lot of screaming, another shot, no more screaming, and another shot.
But by that time,
no more screaming. That's terrible.
Eugene Palmer was long gone and he's never been seen since. The police tracked his pickup truck about a quarter-mile away, near Harriman State Park. Dogs found a trail from the truck to a campsite in the park, and it ended there.
A state police helicopter hovered over Harriman State Park this evening, searching for signs of Eugene Palmer. The 73-year-old is the main suspect in the shooting death of his daughter-in-law, Tammy Palmer. Police dogs fueled by the pickup truck Palmer abandoned near the woods yesterday led police to a new area.
And from there, it led them into the Beaver Pond campsite. Once they got in the campsite, they lost the scent.
At first, the campfire led police to believe Palmer was close, but after 30 officers searched for him on the ground, he was still at large.
I don't know how fresh it was. The ashes weren't hot, so it wasn't like we just spooked him. So he could have spent the night before.
Bruh, I know they'd be annoyed when shit like that happens.
Or there, it could have been from somebody 3 days before.
And according to police, Palmer's own family is searching for him in these very same woods. That's what leads police to believe that the man is still here. But a general sweep of the area is nearly impossible because of the sheer size of the park. It is more than 45,000 acres large and straddles 2 different counties. Investigators are eager to find Palmer because they want to know what happened in the moments before the shooting.
There's more than one side to a story. We'd like to hear his side of the story just to find out what actually happened.
Some think he died in the park. Others, he's living out with relatives in upstate New York or Florida. We just don't know. Though that big red face in him should be, easy to spot. He's also got a deformed thumb, so watch out at the next thumb war tournament. With a big yoke like that, he might be...
What? Alright, I'm cutting that off right there. I'm so tired. I'm so tired. Oh, these little fucking little savages, whatever, won't leave me the fuck alone. Jesus Christ. Have a good night. Cause yeah, I'm not getting up. I'm not getting up right now, but I'm definitely getting off soon. I'm so tired. Just momentarily. One of those people that with games, I'm like, I gotta do one last thing. I gotta do one last thing. Just one last turn. These fucking savages won't leave me alone though. So annoying. Thanks, you too. Have a good day tomorrow. They're doing the most. They're doing the absolute most. Just stop. Just give up. Oh my God. Just give up. The frick? Give up. Just give up. Oh, I'm in third place. Let's go. That shit get old as fuck. It's so old. Alright, I'm going to bed. What time is it? 11:18. 48 been on for 47 minutes. That's good enough. That's good enough. Trump ain't have nothing worthy to say anyway. That's the thing. Nothing he said was even worth fucking listening to anyway. So we didn't miss out on anything. All right. Have a good night.